Hi, it's Adam here, and today I'm not going to be doing a hypnosis session or a hypnosis recording. I'm going to be talking a little bit about a new service that I'm now offering, which is mentorship for therapists or hypnotherapists that are struggling to get the kind of results they're looking for, perhaps in business, perhaps in the growth of their practice. Maybe they just want some insight or tips from someone that's actually been a practicing hypnotherapist for a number of years. How this came about is actually, although I actively encourage people to drop me a message with any requests for hypnosis topics or themes for me to do new sessions on, I've actually had a few, let's say, newer hypnotherapists reach out to me and just kind of offer tips more about how to build a practice or how to build their brand or where to specialize in. So I thought what might be useful is if I created a mentorship service for a limited number of hypnotherapists. Now, I'm aware of my diary, I'm aware of how little time I have available. So I thought actually just opening this up to a maximum of three ambitious and aspiring hypnotherapists that may have a couple of years worth of experience. Maybe they've got the qualifications, but they don't have the number of clients that they want. They're not earning the income they want from their hypnotherapy. And for me personally, I believe one of the biggest tragedies out there in the world of hypnotherapy is that there are lots and lots of very well qualified hypnotherapists that aren't able to have an impact. It's not because they're not a good therapist, but because they haven't learned how to establish a business or create the right marketing or find the right niche or come up with a way to generate new clients on a consistent basis. And I think one of the fortunate things that I had for me when I qualified as a clinical hypnotherapist is that I'd already had about 16 years worth of experience running a PR agency. And because of that, I graduated in a class of about 20 other equally ambitious hypnotherapists. We had exactly the same qualifications. The key difference is that I had a background in branding and marketing and business. And because of that, I was very quickly able to build a credible hypnotherapy practice, charging rates that meant that it was viable for me to continue kind of in this area. And then obviously since then, I've launched quite a successful podcast that has now exceeded 1.5 million downloads in about 2 years. And therefore I thought it might be useful that what I have in my head could somehow be useful for other hypnotherapists out there that maybe aren't getting the same level of traction, aren't getting the same number of clients, aren't monetizing their skill set in a way that is good for them, but also good for the clients that they're working with. So I thought I would just do this very quick recording just to highlight some of the areas that I feel may be useful or beneficial for any hypnotherapist out there that would want to tap into my background, my skill set. So some of the key things that I thought might be useful for me to help someone on could actually be a business plan. So one of the key things that I think very few hypnotherapists have, or therapists in general, have a very clear idea of what their business is all about, how they're able to monetize that, what rates they should charge, how they should market, what's their growth trajectory, how are they going to expand, how do they, what's their vision for the future? So one of the key things that I can certainly work on in the mentorship is honing in a viable plan that increases the probability of business success. I think one of the key things for me on the journey that I went on was, to begin with, I had no idea how to market a hypnotherapy practice, but because I had a background in marketing, I knew what kind of things to test. And I think that's one of the key things with marketing is all about testing stuff. So for me, I tested publicity because I already had a PR agency, and I found that was very good for reputation, very good for branding, very good for credibility, not great at generating clients, if I'm honest. But that leverage that I got from the publicity helped when people visited my website and when they saw my social media, they saw me as the person that's featured on radio and TV and in newspapers and magazines and that kind of stuff. So that's certainly something that I can help any aspiring hypnotherapist or therapist with, to get featured in the media more. How to create a niche. So I have certain specializations and I tested them out. So weight loss was one of my niches, but so was phobias. And in different ways, I was able to find different marketing approaches that worked for those different niches, so that I could find out what the market wanted. And I think one of the pitfalls, one of the mistakes that therapists can make is that they decide on their niche before figuring out if there is a need for that particular area. And normally it's based on personal experience. So they've gone through something specific, maybe a bereavement, maybe overcome severe anxiety or insomnia. And because of that, they want to make that their niche. Now, the problem with that is that it's all about you. It doesn't necessarily take into account the competition or the appetite for that particular need. It taps into the passion for it and the understanding of it, and probably your drive to acquire all the distinctions, but not necessarily about, is there an appetite for that particular service or area of specialization. So how to find your niche is certainly an area that I'm able to mentor people on. How much to charge, and I think there is always going to be an optimum level that means that you're going to have the right number of clients. Now, for me, because I have so many things going on, I charge a reasonable amount, but it's strategically charged at a particular amount. So I get normally around about 5 to 10 sessions with clients per week. If I was to start getting over 10 sessions per week, I'm going to increase my prices, because the optimum level for me is about 5 to 10 sessions. Now, that might be different for you. If you want to be a full-time hypnotherapist, maybe you want 30 sessions or 40 sessions, in which case the price will have an impact on that, because it caters for the size of your market, if that makes sense. And client acquisition strategies, you have to have a system in place to attract clients and then convert interested people into actual clients. So certainly that's an area that I can help therapists with. Also, I think what I've been pretty good at is creating alternative revenue streams outside of one-to-one working with clients. So I have, for example, downloads on my site. So if you go to adamcox.co.uk, you'll see a few hundred downloads priced at a very affordable level. So when people look at my prices and they think, oh, okay, maybe they're not in a position to pay £250 for a 60-minute session with me, it then gives them the ability to still access my hypnosis at a much lower price point, normally about the £5 or £10 mark. In dollars, that would be about $6 to $12. So alternative revenue streams, that's an area that I'm able to offer mentorship. And I think the key thing to mentorship is really about time. You could figure out all of these things, the business plan, the strategies, on your own, by trial and error, by figuring out what works and then changing it. And I think hypnotherapists are normally pretty good at that sensory acuity to find what works, do more of what works, do less of what doesn't work, and then find the solution, because effectively that's what hypnosis is. It's calibrating the lay of the land and then adjusting accordingly. But the consequence to that is time, and sometimes wasted money, particularly in the area of marketing. If you test out lots of different things, the way you learn is the fool's tax, if you like. By making mistakes, you spend a fortune, and I experienced this myself. I wasted about £15,000 on Google AdWords before I figured out a strategy that actually enabled me to acquire clients in a way that was viable and cost effective. Now, that £15,000 that I effectively wasted by not understanding the platform and the way to use Google to acquire clients, I'd rather you learn from my experience rather than waste, several £1,000s or dollars of your own money to arrive at the same conclusions that I've already got to, if that makes sense. So I think marketing is an area that I can help people with mentorship. Alternative revenue streams, certainly. Brand building strategies, and that might mean things like podcasts and YouTube channels and things like that. Again, I have experience in this area, and therefore if you don't have experience in this area, it's always good to find a model that has already gone down the path you're looking to go down. So not all of these things would be relevant to every person, but you might have a desire to specialize in a particular niche and then acquire clients in that niche, but not know how to actually generate clients in that area, in which case I could help with that, but also suggest alternative revenue streams. I think any client working with me on a mentorship basis should really see more, whatever the mentorship package that you choose, I think you're going to get several times return, might be 4 times, 5 times, even 10 times that return in the additional income that you're going to be making just by implementing a few strategies that I know firsthand actually work. Because, I'm not one of these marketing coaches or, ClickFunnels type of guys. Like I couldn't care less about these things. The benefit of me being a mentor to you is that I'm actually a hypnotherapist that has figured out how to earn an income from hypnotherapy. And if that's something you're looking to do, then better to work with a hypnotherapist that knows those things rather than someone that doesn't really understand about hypnosis and hypnotherapy. It might be that you've got certain issues with clients that you don't know how to overcome. And over the years, I've seen, thousands of clients. If we include group workshops, plus many one-to-one sessions, certainly I've got a lot of experience in the area. So it might be that part of the mentorship sessions are actual real life clients that you're struggling with, and maybe I can give some insight into that. Just any problems, key challenges. I think one of the things that I know as someone that became self-employed at the age of 23, it's quite a lonely path. When you're an employee, you've got lots of people on a similar level that you can talk to. When you're a business owner, when you're a therapist, a lot of people either aren't going to understand or want to know some of the problems or challenges that you're facing. So I think that's a way in which I can help. One of the key things that I wanted to do as almost as an exploratory session is that I'm offering 60-minute taster sessions, if you like, with my style of mentorship. This is only an option, if you are a qualified therapist and you're either running a therapy business or you're about to run a therapy business, but the qualifications need to be there. That's a standard. I know particularly in the UK, it's an unregulated profession, so anyone can call themselves a hypnotherapist, but I'm only willing to offer mentorship to people that have the qualifications, but are either running a business not as successfully as they want or are about to launch their business, and that's the key people I can help with. But I'm offering taster sessions at a heavily discounted rate just to see if there is that synergy and if you feel like I could be the right kind of mentor for you in your therapy business. If you think that's the right kind of thing for you, there'll be a link very close to this recording that you can click to book that 60-minute therapy session at a heavily discounted rate. And we're talking like about 90% discount. The purpose of it is not for me to make money from that session, but just to get a sense of who you are and whether or not I'll be the right fit for you and you'll be the right fit as a client. I think time is a scarce resource for me. I'm only going to be working with a maximum of 3 clients on this mentorship basis. So it won't just be the case that you get to choose if I'm right for you. It will also be me choosing if you're right for me, because it's going to be only 3 kind of clients that I work with on this mentorship basis. So if you've been listening to this and you're not a therapist, you probably think this is all a bit strange and a bit weird, and it's probably been a waste of your time, if I'm honest. But if you are a therapist and you are interested in elevating or amplifying your therapy or the income that you make from your therapy definitely click that link and book that taster session just to see if there is a fit between my experience and expertise and the kind of goals that you have for your therapy business. Fundamentally, there's only so much impact I can have on the world, but if I can impact other therapists that then in turn can have an impact on their client base, then we're all having a bigger impact on the world, which is not a bad thing, given how much there is a need for therapy and hypnotherapy in the services that we provide. Hope that's been useful. And again, click that link near to this recording if you are interested in booking that taster session. The moment that I've got those 3 clients, that taster session will disappear from my website and then you won't be able to book it anyway. So if you're listening to this, maybe a few months after the recording, it might not be there, but worth checking just in case, because it might be that if I'm doing a 3-month mentorship, that's come to an end and then there might be another vacancy available. So click that link and I look forward to working with you on that taster session for the mentorship. Take care.